Actually, there's a lot of, I think, confusion, particularly around solar energy. I think over the years, there's been rebates through the government for people putting solar panels. It's led to perhaps some people in the industry that haven't been as scrupulous as others. There's a lot of confusion about it, I think, for the average person. Perhaps some perceptions that it's expensive, that it's not going to completely do the job, and it's not necessarily going to last an awful long time, like a lifetime, in terms of panels and what have you, and cleaning, etc. Just break down the solar energy market for us and how it works.
Well, philosophically behind this, I guess you have a society in Australia that does a couple of things. One, we let the market sort it out. Governments are very reluctant to get in there and manage quality or specify too much in terms of systems and that. So it's free for all in the marketplace. Secondly, Australians are quite renowned, I think internationally, as being driven by price. We just want the cheapest stuff. And in fact, so we have become to some degree a dumping ground for a whole heap of factories in China and other parts of the world that are just trying to get rid of their less quality panels. And then, unfortunately, we have in our society people who just want to make a buck at other people's expense. And, you know, the same sort of thing happened in the insulation scheme, which actually that's a fundamentally good idea, but it made me really sad that in our community we live with people who don't care enough about a quality job and looking after other people to do the right thing. And I guess you could say that's in a lot of industries. So, you know, there are, unfortunately, a large number of cases out there of people whose solar systems do not meet their expectation, whose panels are failing and that. I mean, there are vastly more people who are getting a great deal out of it. There's no doubt about that. And certainly the good people in the industry have been arguing for some time to have some tighter controls around the industry as a whole. But, you know, when it comes down to it, where do you start? Well, the panels. There's this thing called Tier 1, Tier 2 panels, and there's certainly quality rankings within the panels. So, you know, you want to be getting something that has a decent warranty that you know is going to last some time. Then there's the inverter, so it's got to convert the energy from the panels into something that your house can use. And again, that's another place that some things can go wrong. You need to get some decent quality equipment there. And then if you are going to a battery, same rules apply.
And I think that people really do actually struggle with that process because they don't have the knowledge themselves.
That's
They're
right.
relying on somebody else and giving them the information. If we were to see the broad-scale adoption of solar energy, what do you think needs to happen in that market?
Well, some would argue that we have seen broad-scale solar adoption. So Australia has the highest rates of residential uptake of solar in the world, and even in terms of grid scale now, we actually have more grid connected energy than any other country at the moment. So we have got onto that. So when people are confronted with making a decision about what to do for their own home, there are a whole heap of uncertainties in that. And if you get 3 quotes, they'll all be a bit different. So it is you know, you're back to, again, the same sort of thing that you do when you get your car serviced. You know, you probably find somebody who's got a good reputation, check social media, you know, look at the quality of the equipment, the service. You know, you've got to really sort of build a relationship of trust, and I think over time that's happening. So some of the more dodgy solar guys are being forced out of the industry. But what you do need to do is pay for quality. The other thing around that is people will tend to go. In fact, a guy had said to me the other day, he was looking at a system. That was an $8,000 system. He said, it's just too much. My payback will be too long. I can get one for $6,000 on the TV. They're advertising it. It's like, well, actually you can't, because the $6,000 one, to start with, they're probably going to hit you up with extras for connecting wires here and there, whereas I know this guy has given you a full cost proper quote and everything will be included. Secondly, the other guy's put microinverters on the panel. He's made sure that they're not split across the roof. He's calculated shading, you know, it's a good system. The bottom line is that the $8,000 system will save that household more energy than the $6,000 system, and that's what makes it pay off. So there's no point spending less if your revenue, if you like, is less.